Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to be completely honest with my E46. It hasn't been always rainbows and sunshine. Now the weather in Toronto is getting better day by day. Summer is slowly creeping up. A lot of BMWs and tuner cars have been showing up on the streets, but mine is still dormant. And there are many good reasons for that, and I am definitely going to cover some of that. If you have been following my socials, you know that I have been blessed with certain parts from certain vendors recently. Starting off with the amazing Rogue Engineering Clutch. Now I am super grateful for these sponsors, and I'm definitely trying to pump out content just to showcase how amazing these products are. Rogue has been one of my favorite vendors thus far, and they've provided me with the amazing clutch pedal, which I did a honest review on. Of course, if you haven't gotten a chance to check out that video yet, please go and check it out right now before you watch this video. Now the clutch install was very straightforward and very informative, but one thing that I couldn't get going was to try it out on the road. Now the reason for that is because of the many projects that I have been trying to get on before bringing it out, which leads me to the M3 mirrors DIY. Now I bought these M3 mirrors during wintertime and I got it for a steal. Personally, I purchased these from the Facebook marketplace for around $200 Canadian or so. Upon receiving it, it was plastic dip in black and it wasn't in the best condition. The mirror base plate for the M3 mirror was slowly starting to erode due to the fact that the previous owner didn't paint the mirror base properly and water seeped in. I knew going into this DIY project there was going to be a lot of modifications needed to be done in order to fit the sedan. Thankfully, I had my good buddy Charlie who was guiding me along the way and provided me with his DIY, his 3D mirror printed base plate, and of course a spare driver's side mirror base plate for me to work off of. I've been making a lot of content on the M3 mirror and I'm very eager to show you guys, but I have been encountering many obstacles. Starting off with the DIY paint itself. Now I'm no expert when it comes to spray painting or even refinishing products, so this process was very experimental for me. The pain points that I kind of encountered was of course some orange peeling on the paint, a little bit of drip in the paint, and also the clear coat being not glossy enough. This process made me had to revisit some of the steps by going back, sanding it and repainting it, waiting for it to dry, and also of course re-inspecting it so that it meets my quality of standards. And still to this day, the finish itself isn't perfect. It's a DIY project and it shows. Now I'm going to release of course more content on the M3 mirror once I'm done, but aside from the painting and the aesthetics of the mirror, I encountered many obstacles while disassembling and assembling it. Starting off with the wire pinning itself. One of the wires that I was trying to depin, I accidentally or maybe even forcefully broke the metal connector to the wire. Now I have some spares which I could use wire cutters to cut it off and of course weld in, or not even like weld in, but like reconnect the two wires and just using adhesive to mount it together. But that's going to be another skill set that I need to A, look for, B, or even learn about. So that in itself is already pretty daunting. Number two, for these M3 mirrors, when I was disassembling the mirrors itself, there were some missing screws and I was very confused on why there would be missing screws. The only theory that I kind of came up with is when the person that was painting it, they were the ones who were disassembling it and they lost a couple of screws and they just kind of just jankily put it back together. Thus, I need to source mini Torque T15 bolts so that the mirrors can hold on properly. Now I know people could just use shortcuts and just basically hold the mirror itself with a couple of screws, but I really want this to be secure so that it won't fly off. Now, being the hasty individual that I am, I tried to use other screws which I did not know. And get this, the way that I found out that these screws weren't supposed to go in this mount was when the screw head popped off. Yes, that's right. The screw head basically gave out and it just decided to break. And now I have a screw shaft that is kind of stuck in the screw slot that's not supposed to be there. At this point, I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to try my best to get it off. I'm going to, of course, source this work with my uncle, who is a very handy man. I'm going to ask for his opinion to see if I can do anything about this. But of course, I will definitely keep you posted on this. And last but not least, for this M3 mirror retrofit, I forgot to trim off these three kind of pulls that the original M3 mirror base plate has. So right now the mirror glass itself is sticking out beyond the casing itself, and it's just an eyesore. Next up is the Bluebusz. Now I love the Bluebusz technology that TED has to offer over at Bluebusz. If you haven't checked them out already, please do so on Instagram. TED is a really friendly guy, and he has been helping me out during this process. Now attaching the Bluebusz unit to my car was super easy. The Bluetooth was plug and play. Basically, you have to find the harness at the back, plug it in, and you're Bluetooth enabled. But I wanted to take a step further and wanted Bluetooth telephone capabilities. Thus, TED provided me with the wiring. I had to wire the telephone wire from the trunk of the E46 along the car frame and also along the top of the headliner and onto the OEM microphone. And of course, with all these wiring being done, I had to remove the seat and also pull up the carpet so that the wires get tucked underneath nicely. And of course, if you want the Bluetooth technology, you also have to wire a set of special wires behind the radio itself. Now of course, same process, routing these wires underneath the carpet and onto the back of the radio was definitely challenging, and you had to remove a lot of parts and do a lot of lifting. Plugging the wires into the back harness of the radio was definitely something new to me. I am not the most tech savvy person out there, and I had to definitely experiment a little bit. And I think I broke a small metal pin connector. This could be, of course, rejuvenated with a newer pin, but this is something that, of course, I have to outsource in terms of skill wise. Maybe I have to ask my uncle to see if he is able to do so. I quick fixed it by just putting it into the corresponding slot, and hopefully that will work. Now you might be thinking, why don't you just try the Bluebusz? You don't have to move the car. Why don't you just turn it on and give it a shot? Oddly enough, I did. I charged the battery to its fullest. I tried to make sure that the battery had enough juice to at least run the radio, and lo and behold, when I tried to use the Bluetooth capabilities, I couldn't find the Bluetooth function. I pressed the mode button and the Bluetooth option wasn't popping out for me. I'm not sure why. Maybe the Bluetooth unit itself wasn't getting enough power due to the fact that the E46 does require a lot of juice for it to run properly. Of course, before I reach out to TED for any troubleshooting matters, I'm going to try to unplug the telephone capabilities for that unit just to see if it runs properly without it, and just to see if it works at all. And of course, as we get closer and closer on why haven't we seen this car on the road yet, I'm low-key trying to work a lot of maintenance on it as well. I have a new thermostat that I want to change in. I have to do a quick oil change or even a top up. I have lower and upper new intake boots that I want to low-key install before making the car run, due to the fact that I have been experiencing misfires in cylinder 4. I changed the spark plugs, I changed the ignition coil, and still it misfires, and I'm not sure why. I want to definitely see if it's because of the lower intake boots. I want to definitely try and do a smoke test and locate it before I get stranded in the middle of the road. And last but not least, the car won't start. I had a battery trickler attached to it over winter time and it wasn't charging properly. I think it's due to the fact that the garage that I had it in had a very low voltage output and it just wasn't giving the car enough juice to sustain the battery. Yesterday I tried jumping it with another car and it did fill up the battery, but it wouldn't start. When I turned it, it just kept on clicking, and I definitely hope it's not the starter or even the alternator, because these are something that are gonna cost me more in my adventures. So if you have any ideas on why my car won't start, please leave a comment down below in the comment section. Once again, thank you for watching. If you haven't already done so, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channels. It really helps me a lot in the wrong one. But until then, see you next time.